Hey, 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 howdy, folks. How is everyone doing today? Welcome to another great masterclass that we have planned for you today. Real quick, for everyone that's joining us here, sound off in the chat, say hi. Get that chat lit. It's on the right side of your screen. Check in there, say hi, say what part of the country you're in. I like to see who's all, joining us today. But real quick, so a little bit about our webinar today, titled Patient Lifetime Value from First Visit to Forever Patient, right? Kind of giving you an idea of what that's going to be today. We have an incredible speaker today. If y'all have probably seen her on a masterclass before, she's a very good friend of mine. But joining us today, we have Dr. Amanda Holden. She's the founder and CEO of medical director of Holden Timeless Beauty, and she has multiple locations for her practice across Southern California. She's opened her med spa in 2017, but since she opened it, Dr. Holden has just been absolutely obsessed over the exact question we're here to answer today, right? How do you turn a one-time injectable patient into a forever patient, right? She's built the retention systems, the upsell motions, the reactivation playbooks behind one of the most profitable practices in the industry. And now she trains injectors and med spa owners across the entire country on how to do the same exact thing. So she created the playbook and she lives the playbook every single day. Let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Holden. Come up on stage and join me. Hey, there you are.
Hi there. Hello, Jeremy. I'm so happy to be here today.
Absolutely.
I see that we have West Virginia and New York in the house commenting so far. So this is exciting, being in California and giving this impact to people across the nation, because we all want to have a massively successful business. I know that we share that common thread.
Absolutely.
Hello.
I love it.
Treadmill. I love it. I was editing my slides from the treadmill there, Andy. Yes, you need to have a treadmill with your computer on it.
I love that. That's a multitasking at its finest. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, Dr. Holden, I'm gonna let you
Right.
take it away. I'll be hanging out backstage if you need anything, and then we'll finish with questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jeremy. So I'm going to be sharing in just a second my slide deck, but I would first like to just encourage all of you to continue entering where you're from in the chat. It's fun for us all to get to know each other. If you want to put in even your Instagram handles too, you absolutely can, because I feel that collaboration gets us to higher levels. And when we are all working intentionally on our businesses on a Monday, whether it's morning where you are or afternoon, early afternoon where you are, it means that we're going to build something big together. And I know I have a huge passion for business, so I'm excited to talk to you today about lifetime value, about retention. And I see this North Carolina Uplift Skin and Body Med Spa. Whoop, whoop. Amazing. I will be following you later today. I'm sure Jeremy can save this chat for me and send it over, and then I'll follow you guys from my account. So for now, I'm going to share my screen. Let me get over to my screen. You're going to see my entire screen for just a minute here while I pull up this. Jeremy, can you see this okay right now? Are we good? Just waiting for that.
Everything looks good.
Can you
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, great. So today what we're going to be talking about is, as Jeremy said, that first visit to the forever patient. This is one of the doors that patients first see when they come in to see me for a new patient consultation. And I have leaned into my last name and helping people hold time back. So they see hashtag hold time back. You then see Wake Up Flawless in the background, and they come in and sit in this chair with me. And my goal is to create a forever patient, a lifetime beauty patient, a lifetime partner in aging and wellness, however you want to say it. But I welcome them to my practice because I know that that first visit is so important. If you don't know me yet, just a little bit about me. I have been a doctor for 18 years. I went to UCSD for undergrad med school residency. I started in emergency medicine, transitioned over fully to aesthetics in 2017. I founded Holden Timeless Beauty. We are now powered by Alpha Aesthetics. I became co-founder of Alpha Aesthetics Partners in 2023, and we now have 17 brands under management and 36 locations nationally. So we work on building best practices. I'm part of the clinical advisory board, and I also teach not only for RepeatMD, but for Galderma Gain Business. So I love to lean into business and teach others how to succeed at a high level and then learn from others as well. So I'm constantly getting out there, asking questions at conferences and learning so that I can bring the best back to you in every educational track that I share. I also have a podcast called Holding Time Back. I'm about to release a whole new episode series on my solo podcast. And I'll also have other guests joining me. This is a way for you to get to know people throughout the industry, hear their legacy stories, hear how they help people in their communities hold time back, and hear what business systems they've set up to deliver the best patient care. So I encourage you to follow that and listen to episodes that I've recorded previously. We're up to, I believe, 31 episodes now, and still going strong. This is my Instagram QR code. So if you have your phone, be careful if you're on that treadmill, but if you have your phone and you're scanning, this is how you get directly to my Instagram. You can follow me and send me messages, and this is how you talk directly to me. This is me answering, and I'm happy to be there for you. So what's our big idea today? So we first want to think about this. The most valuable patient, okay, is not the one in your chair today. It's the one that stays for 10 years with you. Okay, so just think about that for a second. Think about what you might have said on your last marketing meeting. Think about maybe talking about, oh, let's get more new patients through the door. Well, it's actually better to lean into those existing patients and have a system that creates massive retention with those existing patients so that you're really leaning into who you have in your practice and making them the highest level of value you possibly can think of. Now, I'm not saying here that we don't want new patients. We absolutely do. But what's the point of having 1 million new patients if we don't have time to recommend everything that they need? So this brings up a lot of thoughts in terms of how do you maximize that new patient in your chair? How do you drive new patients in? And then how do you maximize retaining that patient? And those are all the things we're going to talk about today. So first, we're going to look a little bit at what is the definition of patient lifetime value. And so we've heard lifetime value, LTV, before. We're thinking about this in terms of patient lifetime value. Okay, so let's think about that term for a second. That is the total revenue and profit, really the profit the patient brings you over the lifetime that they are with you. So if they're with you for 10 years, it's everything related to every bit of revenue collected for that individual patient. The direct revenue would be things that you recommend and things that they buy as a result of those recommendations, or front desk recommendations, or maybe your SD recommendations inside the office, things like treatments, Botox, filler, devices, skincare, repeat visits, maintenance visits, all the things that you're doing that the patient's directly paying for. But what else does that patient do for your practice? The indirect value of that patient, if they are a happy customer, they give you referrals on a regular basis. They refer in their mom, their sister, their best friend, and that's a trickle effect downstream. They write reviews for you that attract that newest customer to come in and choose you. They create content when they come in. If they're really excited about coming in and they already are on social anyway, they create content if you have a welcoming space for them to create it in. And this is one of our treatment rooms. We have a content ready treatment room. All of our rooms are content ready. And people love recording in them and talking about what they're doing, because we've entered into this era of the why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you doing things that are preventative? Look at, I'm doing this here, instead of being embarrassed about it. And then what else do they do? Word of mouth marketing. So let's think about that patient that has stayed with you for 5 years, 10 years, and now they're at the baseball fields and they're maybe team mom on the baseball team. And the other moms are saying, what did you do to your skin to make you look so young? How old are you? And they share their age, and the other moms are shocked. So that word of mouth marketing, wow, who do you go to? Sending them over with a card to Holden Timeless Beauty, giving them referral cards so they can give that new patient maybe 20% off. They become that brand ambassador. So patient lifetime value means so much to a practice, and to you, it means a lot if you are the business owner. It means a lot so that's the entrepreneur. It means a lot if you're the intrapreneur, the person building your book of business within the business. It means a lot if you're part of the admin staff, because in all these arenas, that gives you stability of a growing, thriving business where you're going to continue to grow within that business. So in all of these arenas, it matters, no matter what role you have within that treatment room, that office, and what you're doing. So let's talk about, from the business perspective, what this does to your P&Ls and your financials. And no, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on P&Ls right now, but I will talk about this for just a second. Number one, if you are a business owner and you're listening, or your partner in business, and you're thinking about partnering with private equity, or you're thinking about your exit strategy, you're getting ready to retire, or you're just starting out and you haven't yet thought about how to build your business as the highest level asset it possibly could be, this matters because it impacts practice valuation. And what does that mean? If you're having your practice valuated, you're not only looking with the person evaluating your practice at your total revenue, you're looking at your profits, you're digging deeply into your costs of goods, and then you're going into many other categories, everything on that P&L, but you're also looking at your customer database and that book of business you've created, no matter if it's one provider practice or 10 provider practice. You're looking at how long has the longest patient stayed? How much does that patient spend? What do the top 20% of patients spend? And now how long has that patient stayed with the practice? So what I'm trying to emphasize here is that the longer you keep patients, the more money, and then the more money that they spend, the more valuable your practice becomes, and you get a higher multiple on the bottom line EBITDA of your practice, meaning truly what your business is making. So just think about it in terms of practice valuation will go up as your lifetime value and your patient lifetime value goes up. Number two, what does this give you? If patients are staying and they know what their 12-month plan is, you have predictable revenue. There are many ways where you can build membership systems, and I'll talk about this in later slides, that guarantees you predictable revenue. So no matter what's happening in the world, you're collecting a steady amount each and every month from patients. And you have a certain number of patient appointments on your books over the next quarter as you look forward. I mean, wouldn't it be great if we could all look forward and we were at 75% capacity looking forward in Q3, and those appointments were all already booked for us. And now we only knew we had 25% of those appointments left to fill by phone calls, new patients, et cetera. Indeed, we might even want to, at that point, add another provider so that we have more capacity or add more hours with our existing providers. But this is so important because patient lifetime value, if you know they're coming back, they have a treatment plan and a strategy, you're filling your books going forward. And this third point here is that retention costs way less than acquisition. So retention is actually more important to you than acquisition. And that's because of those indirect reasons that I showed on the prior slide. If you're retaining a customer and that customer's having a great experience and they're going out and talking about your business everywhere, that word of mouth is a snowball effect. And guess what? It's entirely free. So your retained patient causes you to spend less marketing money to acquire new patients, because we all know acquiring new patients is tough. It takes a lot of marketing spend, a lot of strategy, finding the right company. But that new patient acquisition typically is one where you just have to get it 100% dialed in and right if you're going to be focusing on that in the beginning. So if you have a great book of business and you're in a situation right now where you haven't yet focused on retaining your customers over the past 12 months, then this is definitely something to look at. So the math behind it. Why is this something where we want to lean more into retention versus acquisition? Number one, okay, so we run at Holden Timeless Beauty a lot of ads for neuromodulators. And these ads are a low price per unit, a lower, not like we don't run ads on Groupon. We just run a lower price per unit or a consultation ad, things like that. And it draws in that first time patient. But if that patient sat in our chair and all we did was recommend that one time, say Botox, Dysport, whatever it is, we'll call it Botox for everything, and say they spent $500 and that's the only time we saw them, then we're actually losing so much money by putting new patients in our chair over and over again. If you think about with that one-time Botox patient, each and every time having a very strategic consultation process where you're teaching the patient what they should do over the next 12 months, the next 24 months, the next 5 years with you on a regular basis. If you have your maintenance plans dialed in and all of your providers are locked in terms of sharing this with every customer, now you're going to suddenly have 10-year patients that have spent $20,000, $50,000, maybe even $100,000 with you over the lifetime of their experience with you as you've recommended to them how to hold time back. So that's the difference. It changes the math massively. Now, what mistake do a lot of us make? And the first thing is we think about transactions. And instead of thinking about a transaction, okay, we look at this too, believe me, on a monthly basis for an average or daily basis at our sites, looking at revenue per visit. So if you're looking at one provider and that one provider's revenue per visit is $1,000, yet another one might only have a $250 revenue per visit average, there is something different happening in the room when you look at those two providers. And it might be that lower revenue per visit averaged that provider that's making a smaller amount per hour for the practice, they might just be thinking about the transaction. And what we need to do is think about our patients as that long-term treatment plan, their lifetime partner in aging and wellness. And we need to go less from the transaction to more like, okay, we're not just going to recommend Botox today. We're going to recommend all the things the patient needs. And I'm going to present you with the formula. Today, you're going to come in and you're going to be educated on what to do over time. And then what you're most attracted to doing first, that's what we'll get you scheduled for, in addition to getting you treated today. And I'll go through this and I'll show you guys this in a second. The second thing the mistakes we typically make are under recommending. So thinking that we are the patient's only there for Botox and they truly did not want any other recommendations because we're in that fear of overselling mindset. We're worried that they're going to think we're trying to sell to them when truly we need to recommend to them everything that they need. So if we're not talking to them about their skincare regimen and recommending medical grade skincare to enhance the effects of their Botox treatment, and then we're not talking about if you offer, say, biostimulators like Sculptra, and if you're not talking about microneedling, for example, I'm just giving you a few of these examples. If we're not talking about the comprehensive picture, the patient walks out only having a consult for one thing, and they might not have ever known you offer all the other things inside your practice. So it doesn't become overselling. It becomes making sure that patient is aware of every opportunity they have to age differently within the walls of your practice. So reframing the consultation. How do we do this? We do this by educating the patient and teaching our teams to educate rather than to sell. And, I can't tell you how many times I've heard from people, but I don't like sales. I don't like selling. And I was there once too. I came from a field where I walked into the room and that patient needed me. They needed me to figure out what their emergency was. And now they need me just as much to figure out how they can age differently. But what I do first is I educate them and I say, I'm so excited you're here with me today because we know how faces age. Do you mind if I share some brief education using this flip book? And I use the Galderma flip book and I show them how faces age very quickly using the facial structure, the bony structure, the fat pads, and the skin. And now suddenly I become their guide. So I become that hero in the story of this is how faces age, but now wait, let me guide you to age differently than ever before, because you're one of the privileged few that have chosen to come through the doors, sit with me, and now I'm going to tell you all the secrets that I've found out through studying aesthetics. And that's the beautiful thing, is we have so many things to offer our patients. So we then become a guide. But what we have to do is we have to be able to do this in a consultation that is an hour or less, typically. I mean, I'd love to know how long you guys are taking for your consultations. This is a common question. New patient consultations, how long do you take? Jeremy can tell us at the end. But sometimes we'll have a 30-minute talks only consultation, and sometimes we'll have an hour-long consultation for everything that patient wants. And how do we figure that out? I mean, we're guessing based on what the patient has booked for, but we have to figure out, how do we deliver the highest level of education that's understandable to a new patient in a short period of time where we're not overwhelming them? So that's where I've created my own formula for this. So what I've created, and I'm writing a book called How to Hold Time Back. It's going to be released this year. I was just finalizing some things with my editor this morning, and it's available for everyone to learn from. But what I've created is my unique formula that is simply my unique value proposition for that patient. What do I have? I've created this formula. This is something you guys can also do with the products and services you have chosen to offer within the walls of your practice. But this is how I talk to patients. I have a formula on a one-page sheet. If you can imagine going in, for those of you that get, say, manicures or pedicures, and they hand you that one-page sheet and they're like, which one do you want? And there are 3 options. And you quickly look and you decide, oh, I want the basic or I want the most advanced. This is similar to that sort of formula where it's very easy to look at. They can look at my formula, and my formula is expanded just slightly from here. So feel free to take a picture of the frame of this. But I talk about number 1, medical grade skincare. Okay. So I've shown them how their faces age. Well, this is the solution: medical grade skincare on a daily basis. And you can tell me the regimen you're on, and I'm happy to design a regimen that I think is going to work the best for your skin. Number 2, I call this wrinkle relaxers. Here it says toxins, but I do call this wrinkle relaxers, so it's less intimidating for the patient. Number 3, dermal fillers and biostimulators to add volume back to the face where we've lost it strategically, to lift the cheekbones back up, to give the lips a little bit more of a youthful plump, but all very naturally. Devices, and I call this skin tightening and skin resurfacing. And this is anything from microneedling to microneedling with radiofrequency to lasers to chemical peels. And then finally, muscle toning and lifting. And that's the devices that tone the muscles, both of the face and of the body, that we have available to us, that increase that muscle mass so that we're not having muscle atrophy over time. And then our bodies are stronger for longer, both in the face and in the body. So that's my basic formula, and I show them that. And I ask them, do you have any questions? And if I'm on this step, do you have any questions? Yes. You know what? I'd love to know more about this. Well, I make note of what they want to know more about. And then at the end, I say, so how does all this sound? And they might tell me, well, I'm not ready for Botox yet, but I'm really interested in that thing that you showed me called Sculptra. Can you show me a few more pictures and tell me about that process? Or, oh, I know someone that had microneedling. I actually would be interested in doing that too. So you listen, and it's very important. You have to listen to everything the patient's telling you, from their fears, their hesitations, and their interests, to devise their 12-month treatment plan. Because our missed opportunity is when we have that Botox patient come sit in our chair, or say whatever service you do a one-time consultation for, they come in for a body sculpting consultation, and you miss every other bit of teaching them how they could hold time back, both in their face and body. So just talking about Botox in this example, Botox only, that's going to limit your growth, okay? Because now those patients are just one and done. There might be some younger ones that you're treating every 6 months. There might be some very smart ones that are in their 30s to 50s. I'm not saying the younger ones aren't. I'm just using it as an example of once you hit 40s, 50s, you definitely need Botox on a more regular basis. And now they're doing it every 3 to 4 months according to how their body reacts. But the thing is, some of these people in their 30s to 50s, they might have wanted that long-term plan. And you never mentioned microneedling because you were too nervous to bring it up because you thought that was overselling or upselling. And you just didn't want to bring up skincare or microneedling or the other things that the patient should be doing. So if you're a provider or if you are a coach of providers, make sure you have a way to coach your team as a whole and individually. And then you can also shadow them in the room and set specific metrics for things that they are recommending. But on the other end, when we're looking at P&L selling, so that we can see what mix of services the best of the best are doing. Because I guarantee you, the best of the best, if you have a system for, like I do, say the 5 steps to hold time back, the best of the best are going to be selling a little component of each of those. And now their revenue per visit goes up. That lifetime value of the customer goes up because they're so much happier, and your practice valuation goes up. So make sure that you have a complete recommendation strategy. So number 1, we have a treatment, a patient intake form. And on that intake form, the patient lists their top 3 concerns. And then we verbally ask the patient, what's your favorite feature of your face? Or what's your favorite part of your face? However you want to ask it. And you want to make sure you're addressing not only their top 3, but all the other things that they might have checkboxed below, like sunspots or dark circles under the eyes, so that you can tell them that you actually do have a solution, if you do in your practice, for all those other things. And I mean, I would argue that you should put on your patient intake form the concerns that you do have a solution for, and have a quick way to tell them about each solution if they've checked that, because that's an opportunity. And then you want to introduce a 1-page or 2-page sheet, however you choose to do it in your office, with a 12-month treatment plan. And you should introduce the concept that each and every year, I like to sit down with my patients and figure out what the best 12-month treatment plan is for you in the coming 12 months. So today, we're going to formulate this. We're going to look at it again during your next visit. But based on what I've discussed with you, tell me what you're most interested in doing first. And I'm going to design a 12-month treatment plan for you. And then we can redesign it again in 12 months, because you're going to keep needing to do things to help you hold time back. And then you want to stage treatments. So I'll give you an example. I saw, and this is, I'm not putting any names in there, and I'll change a little bit of the patient stuff, but saw a patient last week, and she had never done anything before. These are my favorite to get in my chair. I know that I have an opportunity to educate them, but I also know they're going to be really overwhelmed when they see all the things that they can do. So I have her in my chair. I go over everything I just told you, education, her concerns, what my 12-month treatment plan would be. And we have our team take her sheet to the front, send her a copy of that 12-month treatment plan, and directly book the next appointments. And if you can lock that patient in for their next appointments, oh, I have to plan for downtime. I'm going to come in and do microneedling and Sculptra on the same day, but it needs to be a Friday. So then I say, okay, well, I'm admin Fridays, so I'm going to put you with this provider, and we're going to make sure we get you set up for all the other things we're staging to do. You can come back and see me for lips on this day when you're ready. And we'll do your Botox. But today, let's make sure you get on your complete medical grade skincare regimen. And I'm going to choose these steps for you. And I'm going to send you your AM and your PM plan, so you get really used to it. And you can start working on your skin literally today when you get home, and start changing the way that you age. Staging those treatments are important, because then patients have a very clear strategy, but you also have to have a follow-up plan, so that they can ask questions on the other side. And I definitely have this with my patients. Before we get to that follow-up plan, I just want you to pause a minute and think about patient psychology. Patients, they want a provider in the chair that is fully confident with what they are recommending, not only with what they're teaching, but with what they're recommending. And as providers or provider educators, we have to learn how to teach our providers to not only think about who's sitting in their chair, but also about their anatomy. If you jump right to, oh, I think this, and this, as far as treatments on your face would work well, and you don't get to know the human behind the face, you're missing the mark in terms of your connection. So if you dial back and you think about the patient connection, and you think about the fact that there are multiple different types of patients that sit in your chair, there could be patients that are, and I'll just give you 4 basic personality types here. Let's think about it as a quadrant: influencer, driver, analyzer, stabilizer. That influencer patient might have a mindset of, oh, I quickly decide things. I'm already here today, ready to get my cheeks and my lips done and have my Botox. And I just want my provider to say, let's go ahead and get this done. I don't care as much about the long-term stuff. Okay. There might be that patient in your chair. There might be a patient that is an analyzer. They're like, I am so afraid about results, long-term effects, complications. Is this going to hurt my body? It took me 2 years to even make an appointment. I only almost canceled yesterday, just thinking about the anxiety I have sitting in the chair right now. We have to be able to hear those patients and be able to communicate in the way that they want us to communicate to them. So I've even developed a strategy to think about recognizing these different types of patients and teaching people how to communicate best with each one of these types of patients. And truly, in your consultation, you can first say, tell me about yourself, and just pause. And they're like, whoa, wait, tell me about yourself. And then if they pause and and they are like, what do you mean by this? I'll, tell you about why I came in. You go, no, like, I want to know, what's your life like? Where do you live? Do you have kids? Are you married? That sort of thing. What do you do for a living? And they suddenly get into this, oh, I'm going to let my guard down. Like I'm meeting someone for coffee for the first time. I'm going to first tell you about myself. And in that, tell me about yourself. Usually you can hear what type of human they are, if they're an influencer, a driver, an analyzer, or a stabilizer. And you let them talk for maybe a minute or two, getting to know them, taking notes, because this is key for that patient's psychological connection. And then you say, so I see your form here. I see your top 3 concerns, but truly, what are your goals? Is there a timeline that I'm working with? What are your goals in coming in today? And when you ask that question, that allows you to figure out, do they have something coming up in the next month that they're getting ready for? Or maybe this weekend and it's Thursday and they're trying to do their lips and they're poorly planning, because now you have to guide them into, no, we can't do that for this weekend. Or are they there literally, I've just heard that there are different ways to age and I want to get on the most preventative path possible. And those are the patients that your 12-month treatment plan, they're going to lean into that. And you need to make note that they are that analyzer, stabilizer type of personality, and they're just really worried about, or they care about their long-term results. So then what does that allow you to do? When you figure out what type of human they are, it allows you to recommend with full confidence and clarity. So if you spent 15 minutes getting to know the patient, going over their goals, going over their top 3 concerns, what solutions you have, showing them a little bit about the education, and then showing them your formula, now suddenly you can recommend with confidence to that human in the chair what they would best fit with as far as the treatment plan that you're going to create with them, that customized treatment plan, because they truly want a plan. And if you aren't creating them with each and every patient, we're missing the mark, right? And there's an opportunity to start literally tomorrow with this. You just have to reframe your consults. Now, patient retention. Okay, so that's your new patient coming in, sitting in your chair. How do you now take that new patient and keep them engaged over time? How do you retain them so that they want to keep coming back to you over and over again, so that they brag about your business and you on the streets in San Diego and say, you've got to go see Dr. Holden and her team. They're amazing. And I'm looking better and I'm feeling better than I ever have before in my life. As a result of their treatments. And that's our goal. We want to give people back their confidence or just give them more vibrance as they age. So in creating that patient retention, we have to really look at 4 different categories and what you've created in your business. So I want you to think about these 4 categories. The first is creating natural results and results that the patient can really see. So it takes a patient typically 2 times of seeing incredible results to really trust you and then kind of open themselves up to, oh, okay, I'll trust you with literally everything you recommend because I see that it's valid. It created a result in my face. And that's why things that are high impact that do create results immediately, things like, for example, dermal filler, Botox, those do create immediate results. Things like facial muscle lifting devices, and you can see the tone and feel the tone right away. These sorts of things that create results immediately, those are actually easier to gain a patient's trust with in the beginning. If you're starting with a biostimulator, something like Sculptra, and they just have to trust that it's going to work, well, some patients already trust you because they've, through word of mouth, they trust you at a high level. They've already seen other people's results. But don't be surprised if somebody brand new to your practice that you recommend a treatment to that takes a long time to work comes back in a little bit skeptical if that's the first treatment that they choose and that's the only treatment that they choose. Okay. So you really need to think about, okay, what's going to create results? What's going to create natural results? And how quickly can I create results in this patient? Because I'm going to make them trust me. Number 2 is the experience. And this is the experience from literally every communication touch point that patient has with you, from phone calls in, text messaging in for changing their appointment, maybe DMing something over on Instagram, email communication, the experience they have when they walk through the front door and are greeted by your front desk team, the experience they have with your medical assistant and the energy they bring into the room that preps you for what you bring in. And, if they have a service failure, if something goes wrong, how do you address that? How do you make sure you're taking care of them like an incredible, incredible patient? And like someone, I like to give this example, like if your steak or if your food comes out not cooked the way you intended it to be cooked at a very nice steakhouse, are you going to go above and beyond with that patient to make sure you ensure the highest level of service excellence with that patient and make sure that they have a winning experience during that time that they visit? And think about that manager of that restaurant comes out, apologizes, might even comp your meal, might even give you a free dessert or something else complimentary and make sure you have a great experience. When you go above and beyond with service failures, that's what makes the experience incredible. So you have to think about every little thing that happens to that patient throughout their time with you and make sure you're dialing in the patient experience. You have to be consistent. Have to have consistent results, consistent behaviors, consistent follow-ups, and you have to really communicate with that patient. For me, we use a system called Weave, and we communicate with our patients on a regular basis with confirmation calls. They know exactly how they're going to be booked out for their next Botox treatment when they come in. We do manager follow-up calls at 30 days to ensure that they love the results. If those results are going to be fully healed at 30 days, we look into, make sure that we get them in for pictures 3 months, 6 months post Sculptra, post skin treatments. And we're really always communicating with the patients as to timeframes and what's working, what's not, what they're liking, what maybe hurt a little bit more that they don't want to do again, and making note of that. So it's really leaning into all of these. That's how you build incredible retention. And truly, the patient side of this, what drives the patients back over and over again, it is top number 1, trust. They have to trust that The provider sitting in the chair next to them truly cares about them as a human, understands them, gets, what's happening in their life. I mean, we're psychologists and we're aesthetic providers. We're kind of both, and that we're giving natural results, that we're not over recommending anything. And now their face is starting to look weird, or they're coming in saying they want more of one thing. And we're like, nope, you actually don't need that right now. Your face looks very balanced. And then they want to feel understood. They want to feel like they can come sit with you like they're a lifetime provider and get the right recommendations at the right time. And that's what drives them back. Our philosophy at HTB, we like to elevate the experience as much as possible. We want patients to feel when they walk into the doors of our office like they are a bestie, like they are there and being taken care of by their family, their best friend, but also someone that's highly professional with tons of experience that's always going to tell them what they need. They know they're going to get a ton of education. They know that they're going to hear about the latest innovations once we trust that those innovations truly work. And we are going to bring those things first to our office once we trust they truly work by, already testing them nationwide at our other locations. And we think about that long-term relationship. We think about how do we keep that patient coming back over and over again. What systems do we use? Okay, number one, we have incredible memberships, and we have built a membership system. And it's interesting because I was just at Galderma Train the Trainer, and we were talking about membership systems. Now, memberships, you can have a patient pay to be in a membership, and they're paying $99 a month and they get X, Y, and Z with it. Or you can have a patient pay $99 a month and that becomes part of their beauty bank. And that beauty bank is now what they can use and spend inside your business. And we were just having a conversation about this in our business session, and in looking at systems nationwide, it turns out that those beauty banks actually have a little more success, although they don't make the business money immediately with a drip of money coming into your pocket each month. They're retaining customers. So what we do is we charge $99 a month. They can choose to put more in each month if they want to. If they want to go to $199, $299, or even pay a year in advance. But then it automatically unlocks different pricing, like 15% off neuromodulators, $100 off filler, and our prices are expensive. So it's a big value proposition for people to be a part of this membership. And we've thought about each piece of what we want to sell in the formula. We offer 10% off skincare, 10% off microneedling and peels, et cetera, et cetera. And what this does is it encourages patients to come back and use their money. And say they accumulate $297 in 3 months, and now they come in for a $500 Botox treatment, and then they have rewards on top of it from RepeatMD, from Ally or Aspire, wherever your rewards are coming from. Now they're suddenly sometimes paying less than $99 for their treatment that day. And although they've been putting it in as a savings account, their mindset is, oh, it's not that expensive to come here. This is great. So it's just changing that long-term mindset of, yes, we've created this membership for you, and now you can use it towards anything in the practice. We offer rewards. We've set the rewards up with RepeatMD. They have something that cross-sells them to another service with every third visit and checking in. They get a $50 birthday reward. They get $50 for signing up for RepeatMD. So we have a large amount of customers on our database. We offer financing, and we offer multiple modalities of financing so that then they can see that 12-month treatment plan, if it's, we quote it to be $12,000, let's just use that even math, that could be only $1,000 a month, or if it's $6,000, that could be just $500 a month for you. And you could do all of these things in the next, 60 days. And now you have no APR through this time, and you can just choose to pay it all off before your APR becomes due, or any of your financing fees are there. So you want to make sure that you have memberships, rewards, financing systems, because even the richest customers, they like to finance things. They like to have some free money for a little bit of time. Maybe they have their money tied up in some investments and they're not ready to just spend. And then, of course, we use RepeatMD. I have since the very beginning used RepeatMD as an absolute of patients are downloading this from the moment they come in. We have all of our services loaded within RepeatMD. They can purchase during business hours, after business hours. We run our Black Friday sales in there. And then we can push out text messages with special offers if we're noticing low capacity any given week, and that retains. So those texts are going to our existing customers, waiting for those reminders about things. Some of those patients that are shoppers are looking for deals are watching there. And then finally, with the new launch of Ageless, so incredible because we can push out Ageless, the link to see what you'd look like in 15 years if you did nothing, or see what your treatment plan should be. And guess what that allows that patient to do? Play with it, play with their face, put in their top concerns, see what they'd look like if they did things to target those top concerns, see what that long-term treatment plan should be if you or your providers aren't recommending everything. And then you can bring them back in to discuss their results and talk about what they want to do next. So that can be a customer retention tool in itself that you push out periodically once a quarter for them to play with and try. So overall, this patient journey, when you think about it, it starts at that consult. Okay, so that new patient comes in, starts with a consult. You then need to figure out how do you dial your consult into a concise and clear and easily understandable 15-minute spiel, okay, per se, or maybe even dialing it down to 5 minutes if that's all you have. How do you turn that consult into a plan? And the plan is addressing not only the patient's psychology, but their anatomy and their desired outcomes. How do you follow up on the back end? And that follow-up, is it being done by a manager on site? Or do you have a system where 72 hours after they visited, the manager reaches out and makes sure they had a great experience? Do you perhaps personally reach out to your newest customers and welcome them to your practice on a system that is a text back and forth like we do? I love to do that. And then what is their maintenance plan? When they're coming in on a regular basis, make sure you're looking, and if they're coming in for their 15-minute repeat tox appointment, hey, what skincare are you out of? Oh, have you done your skin resurfacing treatment this year yet? Let's get you on a plan to make sure you're doing microneedling and a peel in the next couple months, or right after summer ends. That's when we need to hit this hard so that you're, glowing by the time the holidays are here. But make sure you are dialed in to recommending all of this to your patient and really thinking about the patient as a patient journey, not just a one-time visit. In this particular case study, this is Suzanne. So she came in starting with Botox. She was nervous about everything else, hadn't done anything before. She just wanted to treat her glabella, okay? And she was introduced to the full plan and said, wow, that seems like a lot. I'm a little overwhelmed. Of course, people are. And I say, I agree. It is a lot. There's a lot that you can do to help yourself hold time back. And we just do it step by step together. So let's treat you here first. Then we'll get you to the next step, which became M-Face. Then the next step, which became Sculptra. Then the next step, which became a little bit of filler to soften some shadows of light shadow reflection that I show them with the mirror. And now suddenly this grows into a high value patient that's part of a BNI, business networking group locally, that now goes and shows her before and afters to other people and is a lifetime patient. And now this high value patient becomes a brand ambassador, which that's truly what we want. So from patient to advocate, that patient can then go out, give referrals in. You can give them a stack of your business cards. As I referenced earlier, we have stacks of business cards for our providers with our provider face on it that they can give out to other business owners or other patient advocates that they know are going to get out there and pass out their cards. And it might be a 20% off first visit or a 10% off first visit, or here's your 5 units of free Botox. I mean, it can be designed in so many different ways. I like the 20% off. I think it leans into getting someone to try you out, and that's your chance to win them over and create a lifetime plan, that 12-month plan. Number two, when that patient starts sharing on social, they start filming the office, they start showing their before and afters, they start promoting for you. That is huge value in itself that costs you zero marketing dollars. And then finally, when they trust you, now that patient is going to literally want to scream your name from the rooftops, which is amazing. If they're into sharing. Some patients are very private, but when they share even with their closest friends, that's when there's so much value in it. So in closing, I want you guys to think long term. Always think long term. Think 12-month treatment plan. If I did not recommend a 12-month treatment plan and talk to a patient about what they should be doing with me over the next 12 months and book their next appointment, put notes in about what they're interested in, I am missing some pieces here. You want to recommend completely, recommend everything that patient needs. And at the highest level, you want to build a relationship with that patient psychologically. And that interpersonal psychological relationship is so valuable because they know then that you understand them and you truly care. So with that, here is my Instagram QR code again, if you want to scan it here. You can find me on Instagram at Dr. Amanda Holden, dr.amanda.holden. And you can look and see what we create as far as our business content. This page is run by my director of marketing. It's at Holden Timeless Beauty Med Spa. And then this is my podcast on Apple and Spotify. So thank you guys so much. And I will take any questions. I know we have about 9 minutes. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Perfect. Great job, Dr. Holden. That was fantastic, as always. We did have some questions come in. So let me share them on the screen. Do you have an assessment form or treatment plan form that you can share with us?
I do. I would need to, so we have I'll just give you an idea here. Okay. So if you customize a treatment plan similar to, let's see, can you see this at all, Jeremy?
No, the background is catching it.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna outline what we have on our treatment plan. Okay, so it has our logo at the top. It then it says your customized treatment plan. It has the date, the name, and the provider. It has what you love, meaning to highlight and enhance what you love about your face and your body. What are your goals to soften and improve? So what are your goals overall? And they have 4 lines for goals. And then it's simply 3 categories on the bottom, and it says your 12-month treatment plan. Phase 1, month 0 through 3, the foundation. Phase 2, month 3 through 6, the refinement. And phase 3, the preservation, month 6 through 12. And it just allows them to have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 for 12 months kind of thought out. And that's directly what we can share with them. And we have on the back of this, and I have it actually as a tear sheet that we just get at Staples, their AM and PM skincare regimen. So that as I recommend what they specifically need as far as medical grade skincare, I say, you can watch my Instagram. You can see exactly what I used. I posted it 2 weeks ago. It's like about 1.5 minutes long. And I'm going to create your own. And it literally just says your daily skincare ritual, AM and PM. And then you can put below that notes about your appropriate timing. And this doesn't include pricing unless they want it to right on that sheet. And a lot of people do. They want to know the relative pricing. And I'll say, you know what, we'll put together your relative pricing. This is, $4,500 for sculpture in this category. 6 microneedling sessions would be this cost. And they're really like looking at it as a whole. And then they decide what they want to do and where they want to start.
Awesome. Well, Cedrica, love that. So love that you love that, Cedrica. Good. And then we have another one. Do you charge an enrollment fee for your memberships?
We do not. No, we literally say membership's no brainer. You pay $99 a month to be a part of the Diamond Club. And I'll say I designed it to make sense. And so you start your savings account today, and that $99 that you pay today can go right towards your treatment today, and then you'll start accumulating it monthly. You can cancel anytime, and hey, you might have somebody cancel like the next month, but you have to spend whatever has accumulated. You can't get a refund. So we make it super easy for you. So I kind of just say it that way, and we don't have any problems with it.
I love that. And guys, that's why beauty banks are so powerful, because I put it in the chat earlier. That money that they spend in like into their savings account, that money stays in your practice and it is guaranteed to be spent in your practice, right? So you hold
Mhm.
on to that, and that's your policy of like, hey, we don't remove those funds and credit them back, right? They have to spend it in your practice. And I love that.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Let's see. And then, oh, you're gonna like this question. Any way we can get notified of when your book is out?
Yes, absolutely. So follow my Instagram. I'm going to be talking about it. My book should be, I mean, I'm aiming for fall, but I will be talking about it constantly. So if you follow my Instagram, I will definitely be talking about it. I'm sure we'll talk about it through Repeat MD too. I mean, I've worked with Repeat MD for so long that just all of my partners in the industry will be talking about it too, because it's been a project since 2021. So I've dialed it in, and it's for our patients to fully understand what we're recommending and what opportunities there are. But what providers get out of it is how to do a better consultation. What business owners or providers combination get out of it is how to create a system for your practice. And there will be sequels. This one, I just think the highest value is teaching patients in lay term language what changes when they come in to see us and we start doing these treatments that are really natural. So thank you. Thanks for that question.
Yeah, that's a great question, Andy. Thank you for that. And Dr. Holden, what I'll do is I'll talk to our marketing team to make sure we also include a shout out of like, hey, the book's releasing this month
Like,
in our monthly newsletter.
thank you. There you go. You'll get it in the newsletter too.
Perfect.
We'll
Let's see.
we'll
We
be
got another.
blasting it everywhere.
Absolutely. Happy to. For the 12-month plan, is this also a tear sheet that you fill out with them?
Yes. Yes. So you can make individual tear sheets, one for skincare. You can have one that's customized treatment plan plus skincare, because sometimes you have those repeat patients that are coming in and they are not on a skincare regimen. And they're suddenly like, wait, I think I need to be on the skincare that you were just showing that you're on that's making your skin look great. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me get out my skincare regimen. I have one in my room that says Dr. Holden's favorites, and I can check mark my favorites in every category, and then I write down their AM PM, and then I give it to the front desk for them to grab. But the key with that is finding out, are they a two-stepper, or are they okay with 6 steps,
I love it. And then we have another question here. If someone cancels their membership, do they keep the money in their account or do they lose it?
They keep the money in their account. You as a business owner do not lose that money. They cancel, they have to spend the rest of it inside the walls of your practice somehow. So they can come in and they can buy skincare, they can buy sunscreen, they can come in for a treatment of something that they've been wanting, even if they're moving away. If they have moved away, we don't refund it. And we can ship them the skincare if they want that. Or if they come back to town, pop into town and do a quick treatment while you're here. So we just frame it like that, because no, zero refunds. Nope.
Exactly. Yeah. Keep that money in your practice. And again, yeah, let them know that, hey, you can always spend it in our practice. We just can't refund it. So if you ever come back through or if you need to ship skincare to you, we can, just like Dr. Holden said. So very important note there. Dr. Holden, we have Trupti. She's asking if we can share a link to your Repeat MD so that way they can sign up. Are you good with that?
Sure. Yes, absolutely. Yes,
Trupti, I'm
absolutely.
gonna
Our
put it in the chat
share,
here for you.
share the link. Share the link to my Repeat MD. We so our Repeat MD we absolutely love, and we scan every single patient scans it. We have a QR code at the front desk checkout of every location, all of our 4 locations. And every single patient scans that. They get a $50 credit towards their next visit if they're coming in on already a patient special for their first patient as a first new patient. And that $50 credit encourages them to come back. Or if they're just coming in with no discounts at all, they can use that towards their first visit. And now suddenly we just say, this allows us to text you. It allows you to see everything inside our app that we offer, and even purchase from home if you want to. So yeah, use mine
And
as a guide.
I
Feel
love
free.
that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for letting them do that. I really appreciate that. Um,
Sure.
Beth, you asked, can they buy a gift card for someone else? So just to be clear in your question, are you just asking if like Dr. Holden sells gift cards, or like what exactly are you asking here for a little clarification? And Dr. Holden, I do imagine that you do sell gift
I'll
cards at the
just
practice.
yeah, I'll just say if there's no clarification, and tell me if there is. I'll
Oh, there
just
is
say yes.
with
Okay, there
the
is?
beauty bank. Yeah, with the beauty bank money.
Oh, I mean, that would be an exception if they really wanted to. I don't see why not. Whatever. Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
that
there are all these sure it's just made up on the spot with admin. And if they're spending the money, period, then sure, they can buy the gift card. Now that gift card might not even be used by the other person. So think about memberships you pay for automatically and you forget that you have them and how much money that practice makes on you just, paying your monthly fees. But yeah, I would let them buy them for somebody else. Sure.
So just for a clarification for y'all with Repeat MD, and since that y'all can have like repeat cash, which is like the beauty bank dollars, and also the gift card. So we don't allow for them to use repeat cash towards gift cards because that can create like an infinite money loop. And we don't want that, right? So if you're doing it like outside of your Repeat MD app and you have a way to track it and make sure they're not abusing it, you can. But
Mhm.
just so you know, in the app itself, we don't allow for that. So that way it can't get abused.
Yes, ours we have ours outside and then they would just clear their money. And so if they were canceling and they wanted to clear their money, we have physical gift cards we can give people or virtual with a code on it. So we'll send them that particular gift card.
Sweet. Awesome, y'all. That
Well,
was
thank you
great.
so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Holden. That was amazing.
You're welcome. Yeah. I appreciate you all joining today and I wish you every bit of success in your practices.
All right, y'all. Take care. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.